Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Marcellus Williams? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Marcellus Scott Williams was born on December 30, 1968, and lived in St. Louis, Missouri. By 1998, he had become a career criminal who accumulated 15 felony convictions and regularly used illegal substances. Marcellus was a dangerous offender who appeared to be destined to kill somebody. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On August 11, 1998, a 42-year-old former reporter named Felicia Gale was found dead by her husband, Daniel. She was in the house they shared in a gated community on the 6900 block of Kingsbury Boulevard in University City, Missouri. This is just west of St. Louis. Here is what the police found during the course of their investigation. In the morning, after Daniel left for work, Felicia was still at home. When she was taking a shower in the bathroom on the second floor, a perpetrator broke into her house. Felicia walked out of the bathroom and started walking downstairs. She was not wearing any clothing from the waist down. On the staircase, Felicia encountered the perpetrator, who stabbed her 43 times with a kitchen knife. The knife, which had been taken from a drawer in her own kitchen, was left protruding from her neck. After the murder, the perpetrator went upstairs and used the bathroom to clean up before exiting the house undetected. 3 fingerprints of interest were found in the house. Hair was found on Felicia's shirt. 2 shoe impressions were found in the front hallway, and DNA was found on the knife. Daniel told the police that his wife's laptop, computer, and purse were missing. The purse typically contained her calculator, wallet, credit card, and identification. The police did not have any idea who committed the murder, and nothing really happened with the case. In May 1999, a $10,000 reward was offered for information leading to the arrest of the killer. In June, a man named Henry Cole came forward and claimed that the killer was Marcellus Williams. By this time, Marcellus was in prison serving a sentence for robbing a donut shop in downtown St. Louis. Henry said that he and Marcellus spent time in jail together from April to June 1999, and they became friends. In May 1999, while they were watching a news story about the murder of Felicia Gale, Marcellus confessed that he was the killer. Henry mentioned that the girlfriend of Marcellus at the time of the murder was a sex worker and burglar named Laura Acero. Marcellus had told Henry that Laura also knew about the murder. In November 1999, the police paid a visit to Laura at her mother's house. She thought they were there to arrest her on outstanding warrants. The police told her that if she supplied information about Marcellus, they could take care of those warrants for her. After initially denying any knowledge about Felicia's murder, Laura implicated Marcellus in the crime. Here is the story that she supplied to investigators. At the time of the murder, she had been dating Marcellus for 3 months. On August 11, 1998, the day that Felicia Gale was killed, Laura woke up in a Buick LeSabre that Marcellus was using. The car belonged to his grandfather. Marcellus drove Laura to her mother's house and departed. When he returned at about 3 p.m., he was wearing a jacket that was zipped all the way up. This was unusual because it was hot outside. When he took the jacket off, Laura noticed scratches on his neck and blood on his shirt. He removed his clothing and threw it in a sewer after saying that he had been in a fight. Laura noticed a laptop computer in the Buick. Marcellus took the computer down the street. When he returned, the computer was gone, and Marcellus had crack cocaine. In the glove box of the Buick, there was a calculator and a ruler. These items had not been there before. Later, in the trunk, Laura found a purse containing Felicia Gale's identification. She was furious because she believed that Marcellus was cheating on her, but he reassured her that there was absolutely nothing to worry about. The purse was not from a lover, rather from an innocent woman he brutally stabbed to death while burglarizing her house. Laura must have felt so much better after hearing this explanation. Sure, Marcellus may have been a cold-blooded killer, but at least he was not having an affair. When the police searched the Buick LeSabre, they found the calculator and the ruler that Laura had mentioned. Both of these items belonged to Felicia. They also recovered Felicia's laptop computer from a man named Glenn Roberts, who claimed that Marcellus sold it to him for $150 or $250. None of the physical evidence recovered at the scene of the murder was connected to Marcellus. The primary evidence against him came from Henry and Laura, who were credibility-challenged individuals. Despite this, in November 1999, Marcellus Williams was charged in connection with Felicia Gale's death. On June 15, 2001, he was convicted of first-degree murder, burglary, and robbery. On August 27 of that same year, he was sentenced to death. Marcellus maintained his innocence and appealed his case several times over the years. He was scheduled to die in January 2015 and in August 2017, but he received stays of execution. In January 2024, the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney filed a motion asking the court to vacate the death sentence for Marcellus. Experts had concluded that DNA found on the murder weapon belonged to an investigator and an assistant prosecuting attorney who had handled the knife improperly. Marcellus was scheduled to be executed on September 24, 2024. The Missouri Supreme Court ruled that the execution could move forward, even though there was a pending lawsuit. On August 21, 2024, Marcellus agreed to a plea bargain, which involved him accepting an Alford plea. This means he could accept the consequences of being guilty while simultaneously maintaining his innocence. The terms of the deal indicated that his death sentence would be commuted, and he would spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole. The Missouri Supreme Court blocked the plea bargain. On September 24, 2024, Marcellus Williams was given a last meal of chicken wings and tater tots before being executed by lethal injection. He was 55 years old. The two key witnesses against Marcellus, Henry Cole and Laura Acero, died prior to the execution. Now moving to my analysis. Marcellus Williams maintained his innocence right up until the time that the state of Missouri silenced him permanently. He had many supporters who believed he was not responsible for the murder. There were also many people who believed that he was probably guilty, but they were fine with him serving life in prison instead of being executed due to uncertainty with the case. The state, of course, disagreed. They would have preferred executing Marcellus years earlier. This brings me to the question, was Marcellus guilty of murder? Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that he was guilty, starting with the inculpatory factors. Marcellus was a career criminal who was violent, unpredictable, and regularly used illegal substances. He was serving 20 years in prison for armed robbery when he was charged with Felicia Gale's murder. In January 2000, Marcellus used a metal pipe from a weight set to strike a guard in the head while attempting to escape from jail. The guard survived, but was severely injured. The jailhouse informant, Henry, said that Marcellus confessed to the murder. The girlfriend of Marcellus, Laura, also claimed that he confessed. She stated that Marcellus had scratches on his neck and blood on his shirt. Furthermore, Laura directed the police to the ruler and the calculator owned by Felicia. Some of the details of the murder that Laura provided were not public. The laptop, which had been stolen from Felicia's house, was recovered from Glenn Roberts. He claimed that Marcellus sold it to him. In the trunk of the Buick LeSabre, there was a pad of paper with Glenn's name and phone number written on it. Moving to the exculpatory factors, the two key witnesses against Marcellus had zero credibility. Henry was a career criminal who used illegal substances. He admitted to the police that his sole motivation for coming forward was collecting the reward money. After collecting $5,000 of the $10,000 reward, Henry repeatedly called the police, hoping to get the rest of it. Jailhouse informants are notoriously unreliable, and all the details of the murder that Henry mentioned had already been made public. Laura was also a career criminal who used substances. She only spoke to the police after they promised to take care of her outstanding warrants. She repeatedly lied to the police. For example, on 2 occasions when she was arrested for prostitution, she told the police she had information about Felicia Gale's murder, but then she said she did not know anything. Even though Laura did supply details of the murder, which were not public, she may have been involved in the crime. She called a relative of Marcellus and asked him if he wanted to buy a laptop. She was also seen carrying a laptop. There were discrepancies between Laura's statements to the police and her testimony at the trial. For example, she initially said that Marcellus threw the purse away on the night of the murder, but at the trial, she testified that the purse was thrown away the next morning. Unlike Henry, Laura did not request the reward money. However, she admitted that she was interested in the reward. The DNA found on the knife used to kill Felicia Gale did not match Marcellus. Strands of hair found at the crime scene did not match Marcellus, Felicia, or Daniel. 2 footprints at the scene did not match the shoe size worn by Marcellus. Furthermore, the 2 footprints did not match each other, suggesting that 2 perpetrators were involved. In his alleged confessions, Marcellus never mentioned a second perpetrator. When considering the evidence in this case, do I think that Marcellus was guilty of murder? I believe he was guilty in reality, but I am not convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. Unfortunately, the state of Missouri executed Marcellus. Unless they plan on resurrecting him from the dead, the debate over his guilt is academic. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Marcellus Williams was self-centered, violent, aggressive, impulsive, irresponsible, cold, callous, sadistic, sensation-seeking, and had a sense of entitlement. He may have suffered from antisocial personality disorder, but even if he did not, he was still a dangerous individual. On August 11, 1998, Marcellus broke into Felicia Gale's house, believing it was empty. When she came downstairs to investigate, Marcellus retrieved a knife from the kitchen and stabbed her to death. On the day of the murder, he told Laura what happened. After being arrested for an unrelated robbery, he told Henry about killing Felicia Gale. Neither witness was going to say anything without being motivated because they did not actually care about justice at all. Eventually, Henry was motivated by money, and Laura wanted the police to take care of her outstanding warrants. They turned on Marcellus, and he was convicted. However, many people had doubts about his guilt. The fact that Laura and Henry had no credibility whatsoever weighed in favor of Marcellus, as did the lack of physical evidence against him at the crime scene. Despite gathering widespread support to protest his death sentence, the state really wanted to execute Marcellus. It was clear that he was a dangerous offender. Even if he did not murder Felicia, he was going to murder someone eventually. Some people simply did not care why he was being executed. They just wanted him dead. Their wish was granted in the end. Now moving to my final thoughts. There seems to be little doubt that Marcellus needed to be in prison for the rest of his life. If he was released, he almost certainly would have committed more felonies and maybe even killed someone. Even so, in the case of Felicia Gale's murder, there were serious doubts about his guilt. There is a sense that Marcellus did not really have a chance to find justice. He begged for a legal inspection, but was given a lethal injection. Those are my thoughts in the case of Marcellus Williams. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They consistently generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.